My name is Darci Foote. I'm a fourth-year general surgery resident at Beaumont, and I'm here to present a collaborative effort by Beaumont Health, the University of Michigan, and Loyola University on identifying institutional factors in general surgery resident wellness and burnout. High rates of burnout have been demonstrated amongst physicians, including surgeons. Rates of burnout among surgical residents has been quoted as high as 70%, while significant attrition also exists. Increasing focus on understanding the contributors to and ways to mediate physician burnout has emerged in recent literature. However, much uncertainty still exists. What are the contributors to burnout, and how do we identify those most at risk? Emphasis on interventions have emerged centered around the individual, such as mindfulness, meditation, and development of coping strategies, and there has also been focus on the residency program's focus to the burnout epidemic. However, this leaves the context of the larger institutional macrocosm largely ignored. Residents work within large hospital systems whose environment, culture, and systemic inefficiencies significantly add to the emotional exhaustion, cynicism, depersonalization experienced at work, resulting in feelings of low personal accomplishment. Thus, we must understand the effect of the institution on wellness and burnout, and institutions need to be involved in combating this problem. There are challenges to identifying institutional factors that influence burnout. Factors can be difficult to measure. For example, cultural surveys have been used to assess various areas of work life. Following the significant effort to conduct these surveys, they remain largely institution-specific, lack generalizability, and are difficult to correlate to the complex multifactorial outcome of wellness. Sufficient power to assess for impact of wellness is thus a problem. Data points obtained from publicly available databases are a potential solution to this problem. These institutional data points can be obtained for most hospital systems and studied in aggregate to assess for correlations to burnout. There are studies that focus on objective factors. One such study demonstrates that declining institutional financial health has detrimental effects on academic physician wellness. Another study showed that high rates of exposure to trauma leads to burnout amongst nursing. However, apart from the study of a few isolated factors, to our knowledge, no list of objective or publicly available factors implicated in burnout has been developed. Furthermore, this has not been studied in the context of surgery residency. Our study sought to develop a list of publicly identifiable factors that could be implicated in general surgery resident wellness. To guide our investigation, we used Christina Maslach's conceptual framework. The areas of work life describes the individual within the workplace context. Burnout factors within an institutional context can be categorized into 6 areas or domains of work life that include workload, control, rewards, fairness, community, and values. To identify factors related to burnout, we employed a modified Delphi technique with wellness stakeholders at 2 institutions, Beaumont and the University of Michigan. A primary open-ended survey was sent to collect ideas for factors potentially implicated in burnout. Factors were collected and refined by the research group. A second survey was then sent to all stakeholders that started the primary survey, asking them to rank factors. A final iteration was then sent to all respondents that completed the second survey, asking them to agree or disagree with the ranking of factors, forming a final consensus. The response rate for the first survey was 27%, 34% of which were female. Respondents were from a diverse array of wellness stakeholders, from residents to hospital administration. Response rates for the second and third survey were 65% and 70%, with continued input from all stakeholder groups. The top factors in each domain were work hours, autonomy, compensation, which was the most important factor cited by our stakeholders, peer support programs, budget allocation, and presence of a residency union, as well as mentorship programs. Other factors identified by 25% or more of respondents are listed here. This stratification of factors provides a roadmap for future work on understanding burnout. Additionally, subcomponents of factors can be studied. For instance, within community, geographic region and institution location were identified. Work has been done exploring larger geographic groupings such as Northeast, Southeast, Midwest, West, etc., but has not found an association. However, do other aspects of geography such as urbanization, critical access or referral hospital designations, or their sociopolitical climate play a role? The area of work life with the greatest diversity in rankings was values. This suggests that our stakeholders, which include surgery residents, have disparate values. The divergent emphasis may create challenges to demonstrating a significant association between value factors and wellness. Similarly, interventions targeted at this domain may be appreciated only by a subset of individuals and may not be universally beneficial. Institutional factors can also be divided into intrinsic factors and mutable factors. Intrinsic factors such as location, patient population, local trauma, or suicide rates allows for identification of those at risk. Interventions can be prophylactic, targeting the individual to promote resilience and create structural support. Mutable factors, however, such as support staff, benefits, or compensation, call for institutional or policy changes. Both are worthy of study, though each has unique challenges in addressing the problem. There are limitations to our study. First, the study was conducted at 2 Southeast Michigan hospitals, where local regional culture may have influenced the results. Second, the majority of our responding stakeholders were residents. This likely influenced the ranking of our factors, but given that resident wellness was our primary outcome of interest, this was reasonable that residents had the heaviest input. In conclusion, we formed a consensus on potential factors implicated in resident wellness and burnout. Now that these have been identified, further work can focus on determining whether these factors significantly impact wellness and burnout, and ultimately, identifying institutional factors related to wellness can direct work to understand organizational barriers to and facilitators of surgical resident well-being.